before we jump into templates and stuff like that, I wanted just to go over a few of the widgets for Elementor Pro, because I know when I was talking about the free version, I couldn't really show you because I didn't upgrade yet. But now that I have, let's go ahead and finish off that home page. So let's go to home and then right click on open with Elementor. And what this will do, it's now opening up the canvas. Hopefully by now you've actually already played with a lot of things and you've already jumped into the Elementor Pro and you've started playing with that. And let's go ahead, and I'm just going to close down my camera because I want you to see everything. So I'm just going to close that down. And now you can see it is a little overwhelming at first because you've got, oh, whoa, what's all of these things? All of these amazing things have just popped up and I don't know which one to use and stuff like that. Well, actually, you don't need to use all of them. In fact, you don't even need to use most of them. Even though I have the Pro version, I only use core things. I use templates, and I use text, headings, buttons, icon lists. Sometimes I use testimonials, I use table of contents for blogs, but I don't really use that much more. And of course I use the forms. So let's go ahead, and where it says search for widget, just go ahead and type in form. Okay. So you've got two options here. You've got the normal form, which is like a contact us form, and you've got the search form, which is kind of like generic browsing over your website. And if you put this here, you can see that's now showing search, and you can change the skin to minimal or full screen. If you click on that, you can see it's up to you what you want, or what you want to change and stuff like that. Okay, I'll let you play around with that, but let's go ahead and add a form, because on this page what I'm trying to do on the sidebar, like I mentioned before, is I want to try and capture people's email address, tempt them into giving me their email address so I can keep in touch with them and never again worry that I'm losing all this traffic that I'm working so hard to get to my website, and they'll never come back. So once I've got their email address, we can do lots of cool things. So let's go ahead and drag the form in there. Okay, now it's up to you what fields you want, but I'm not really interested in the name. I'm not really interested in the message. I just want the email, and you'll actually find your conversions will go higher once you have the email. So I'm going to, on the side here, I'm going to click the X for the email, for the name, and the X for the message. Okay, now we've just got the email there, and if you click on this, the email tab, you can see we've got a bunch, and you can change the email to whatever you want. If you want it to be text, if you want it to be email, phone number, all you've got to do is add item or duplicate item, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. Okay, now with the email, I personally like changing the placeholder, which is where it says email inside. So where it says placeholder here, just by clicking like so, enter your email. Okay, here. Okay, and that's great. Now if you want to change the width of the column, so 50% for example, and this is good because it allows you to also, if you want a first and last name on the same line, it lets you do that. Now according to like Salesforce and Big and HubSpot and stuff like that, I think I remember reading that forms have a higher conversion rate when they are underneath each other rather than side by side like this. Okay, so you're probably better off just doing underneath, and again, take away all the fancy stuff and what any website that you've been to in the past, because it's all super fancy or super amazing, when the reality of it is that it's likely breaking down the conversion rate for you, and it's not going to do you justice. So also, I don't really like this label here, the outside. So where it says label, I'm just going to go ahead and hide that. Okay, and that's done just like so. Where it says form name, this will just help you identify where someone has submitted an email on which form. So this is going to be home page offer form. Okay, and if you want to change the input size, you can, like so. If you click on submit button, you can change the text. So send me free PDF. Okay, And again, you can change the size of it. You can change the column width if you want to make it side by side. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. And then we go ahead and click Actions after Submit. Now, this, I'm going to get into tracking in much further down the line because it's very important to track things. But this area specifically allows you to connect third-party stuff. And we're going to be coming to the autoresponder section very, very soon, where I go into more detail about this. So we're going to keep it really simple and just do a simple, actually, we're not even going to do redirect. I'm going to cover that in the tracking section. Yeah, you can just see, just click on it, have a look, and this is all it will look like. And it just lets you connect third parties and all sorts of stuff. It's really, really handy. Let's go to email. Now, the email is what you are going to receive. Okay, so ideally you would want to put your email address there, and then the subject line, so new download request. Okay, and message all fields, just leave that alone. You don't need to play around with that. From email, well, what email do you want it to be from? So I'm just going to do whatever, my email. And reply to, so you can either have it reply to yourself, or if you want to reply, go to email field. I'm going to do email field just because it makes sense. And if you want to CC or BCC a colleague or part, I don't know, someone or a client, then you can do just like that. At the bottom here, you've got metadata, and this is just, some of it's useful. So get rid of credit, get rid of user agent, and you know what, the rest is actually, yeah, fairly handy to have, because this also tells you what page it's from, like the page URL, etc. And from name, well, your business website. So whatever your business is called, or your website, or your landing page, whatever you want to put in, that's called, because this is the from. So, and additional options, again, you don't really need this, but you've got the custom messages here. So when someone clicks the submit button, this will show if it's been successful or an error occurred, and you can customize this every step. So you can see, please fill in the field. So this is required. So if I change this to you're awesome, but this failed, please try. Oh. And now if I click on it, oh, that didn't work. Let's just update. Click. And that's still not working. I'm not sure why that's not working, but let's go ahead and go to the front page and have a quick look. And remember, you're always going to have little problems or ways to do things, but the important thing is just sticking to it and, you know, solving the issue. So click here. And it's not working. I can look into it. It could be something to do with my cache. It could be I've just entered in the wrong area. I don't know. It's not that big of a thing, so I'm not going to focus too much onto it right now. But I think you get the point. You just do things like that. And then what will happen, just for your peace of mind, is that down the line, once we cover autoresponders, they will enter the email here. It will go to your autoresponder automatically, and we would have designed a done for you template where it will automatically send them to whatever, send them the download link. Okay, so, and that's the form just like that. And look, I'm not saying this is the prettiest website in the world. It's nowhere near being that pretty. But what I'm saying is that this sort of format works. It works over and over and over. And it's something that people overlook all the time. And, you know, so go ahead, use this format, add the images in, add all the buttons in, add different wacky text as long as they're readable, add some color to the page, which I've actually not yet covered. So how do we add color to the page? Well, it's really simple. So depending on where you want to add color, so let's say you want to add color or a background image to the section, click on edit section, go to style, background type, click on color, and we said this was going to be orange and black. So let's go ahead, change it to black. Okay, and that's a bit too black for me, so I'm going to change it to this black. Now I'm just going to go black. Okay, and now, but nothing's presentable. So we've got two choices. I can either say, you know what, I'm going to change all the text to white, or I can change the background of the column to white and see how that looks. So let's go ahead and do that. Click on Edit Columns, Style, Background Type, White, and there you go. We've got a great, now we can see that it's what we want it to be. Now, what about this column here? Do we want this to be black? Do we want it to be white? Well, let's try having it as orange. So again, edit column, background type, color, orange. Okay, and now we've got it like that. Okay, and what I don't like is I don't like the fact that there's no spacing between here. Okay, so the bottom and the top. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on the edit section, advanced, and where you see padding, I'm going to click the unlink values, and top I'm going to add 30 pixels, and bottom 30 pixels, and there you go. But I'm actually going to change the bottom back, and because I quite like it like this. Okay, go ahead and click update, refresh, and there you go. And instantly it's just brought it to life. Now, just to show you what I mean about colors complementing each other, I want to change this button to black. So click on this, style, button, background, black, update, go back to the page, refresh, and there you go. Do you see how easy this whole process really is? Okay, and that is really as simple as creating any other page. And once you start, you can actually see that once you start putting in images and all sorts of things, it will really bring everything to life. And actually, it's straight to the point, which is what you want, which is what you kind of need if you want to generate leads online. There's no such thing unless you've got some really solid branding behind you, or you're in a super niche. Having fancy websites will always set you back. Okay, not only in cost but also in lead generation, because people simply do not always respond to fancy designs. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to create a next video on the mobile and tablet side of things. So let's